Microphone testing, microphone testing.
Thank you for that beautiful start to our service, Beth. Good morning. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Door County. Again, we reground ourselves here in our highest values. Love is the center and foundation of this faith. Love is the power that holds us together as a community. As we enter into worship, then let us open our hearts to the healing power of liberating love. Because love is not only something we receive, but something we practice in community. Let fall away all that might distract us from the wholehearted practice of love. Let us be accountable to one another for doing the work of living our shared values through spiritual discipline of love. As we continue to listen and learn, to act and grow, may each unfold in wholeness, both deeply loving and truly loved. I'm Donna Johnson, your service leader this morning. Please take a moment to silence any noise-making devices, and on behalf of the fellowship, I extend a special welcome to any visitors who may be with us today for the first time, or maybe haven't been with us for a while, and we ask that you stand at your place and tell us who you are, where you're from, and perhaps what brought you to the service this morning. Anyone willing to stand and introduce themselves?
Makes me a little nervous to do it, but hi, everybody. I'm Jeff Utchik, and I live in the same subdivision in Allison Bay as Mary Ann and Eamon. Told you I'm nervous. I know Eamon very well. Anyhow, I haven't been here for a few years, and I wanted to come back and reintroduce myself. And, with all that's happening in our world, I find myself a little emotionally off-center, so I thought I would come back and greet you all, and hopefully greet you later in the community room. So, hello.
Welcome.
Thank you.
I'm Carla. I'm from Tucson, Arizona, and this is my third summer up here as a visitor. So I'll be here through September, and I love it here. And I'm kind of looking for a home, and I thought maybe this might be it. And I don't know if you're in association with Unity Church, but I go to that church sometimes in Tucson. So I thought I would come today.
Welcome.
I'm Marika Van Roy, and I'm from Appleton. I was born and raised in the area in New Rochelle, Illinois, and have defected to the Quakers. But I'm here because Stacy is a beloved friend of mine, and I'm asking her to speak about her.
Welcome.
I'm Barb. I've been here before, and we're from the UU in Woodruff, Wisconsin. Connie and Joan, Joan used to live in North County, and we went on that bike ride yesterday.
Welcome. Okay. At this time, I direct you to the announcements that are on the back of the order of service. And if there are any additional announcements that pertain to the fellowship, please share those now. And please wait for Carrie to bring a microphone to you so that all may hear your announcement. And if you would, please identify yourself when you start. Any announcements?
Hi, I'm Mary Ann O'Dowd, and just a reminder that the tour and luncheon being hosted by our community partner, the Housing Partnership of Door County, is Tuesday, June 24th, and we would like to give them a number of attendees and the sign-up sheet. If you haven't already contacted me by email, text, or another means, there's a sign-up sheet in the lobby, and please sign up, and look forward to seeing everybody there on Tuesday, the 24th.
Hi, my name's Gwen Grayboys. I have two announcements. The first one is the Climate Change Coalition is doing a compost collection for the Door County Triathlon on Saturday and on Sunday. We're looking for volunteers to help the attendees and their, I don't know, the audience separate out compostable items from trash, from recyclable items, which is primarily cans and bottles. We had a big, well, we think it's a big breakthrough, come in little steps. We were able to get the triathlon committee to switch from styrofoam plates to home compostable paper plates. We have 4,500 plates that they bought, and we'll be composting them throughout Door County. The fun thing is that we actually saved the triathlon committee $500 by buying compostable plates rather than styrofoam, contrary to what everybody thinks, that recyclable is more expensive, and they were willing to share that $500 savings with the Climate Change Coalition. So we're looking for volunteers. Saturday morning is the sprint triathlon, Saturday afternoon is the kiddies, and then Sunday is the full triathlon. I'm so sorry. It is July. I should have had that on the tip of my tongue, and I didn't, and I'm sorry. No, it's the 12th and 13th of July. I'll put something in the midweek announcement, but you can certainly email me or call me. The second announcement is on behalf of the Environment and Building and Grounds Committee. We will hopefully have our penultimate work day out front this coming Tuesday to pull weeds and spread mulch. The mulch is currently sitting in one of the disability spots out front, and if we don't get a few people to help, it'll be disability for a few of us to spread all that mulch. But anyway, that's from 9 to noon. Right now the weather's iffy, but it's been iffy every day for all week. So if you have any questions about whether to show up, please text or give me a call. So it's this coming Tuesday, 9 to noon, pull weeds and spread mulch.
Hi, Ruth Budick. Last week we provided the snack, and I had a request from several people for a recipe. I have some slips now with the recipe, and I'd be happy to share it. But you please contact me because I don't remember who asked. Thank you.
Good morning, Beth. And in case you didn't notice, the opening prelude was not choral song. I was walking my dog on a rainy day this week, and it was just this, the alternate came to me, the sometimes nobody knows the trouble I've seen. And it just felt, given the realities of our world these days, and felt like it might fit in with what Tracy was talking about this morning, so I made that arranger as the offertory.
Thank you, Carrie. Now I'd like to invite Al to light the chalice as I read these words from Nadine McSpadden. During our darkest moments, still, there is hope. When facing our biggest challenges, still, there is hope. When all we can do is put one foot in front of the other, still, there is hope. When we can't find the way out, still, there is hope. When all we can do is help is hold someone's hand as they cry, still, there is hope. We are the hope for ourselves, for one another. Always, there is hope. It is okay to be tired of change. It is okay to be tired of everything different. Okay to feel weary of resiliency and wholeness and learning and growth. And okay to yearn simply for rest. It's okay to be grouchy and unsatisfied in all the ordinary human ways of being that we are. Let this morning be a reminder that you are loved. Let our time together be a reminder that we can soothe what is restless in you. May you be comforted in knowing that whatever you are feeling today and other days, you are not alone. You are never alone. Come, let us worship together. Please stand in body or spirit and join in singing hymn number 101, Abide With Me. And please remain standing for the unison affirmation printed in the order of service and the singing of the doxology. We gather together to seek knowledge and wisdom, to explore freely the vast reaches of mind and spirit, to celebrate in a caring community those truths, ancient and modern, which give meaning and direction to our lives. At this time, you're invited to share any joys you may have so that we may celebrate with you. Or if you have concerns that burden you, feel free to share so that we may offer solace and support. Please identify yourself when you share, and please wait for Carrie to bring the microphone to you. But keep in mind that the service is being broadcast and will be on the internet, so please do not share any information with another person or persons unless you have their permission to do so. Any joys or concerns? Okay, Phil?
I have a joy. Yesterday had the privilege and honor to be with 1,100 people marching in the No Kings Rally in Sturgeon Bay. It was very, very, for a population of 9,000 people in Sturgeon, 1,100 is a big push. And considering everything else that was going on, like Laura said, the bike-a-thon and other stuff, we still had a really strong presence. It was just a thrill to see. And then look nationwide. There were literally millions of people out there in the streets at all towns, small towns like ours, and large towns like Chicago and Houston, Austin, everywhere. So it was really cool. So don't lose hope, everybody. We're going to win.
Nancy?
Nancy Ravel. I think it was Tuesday, I got the word that I'm almost back to normal the way I was before Lyme disease cut me down with 3 weeks in the hospital this year. And the other joy, of course, was yesterday I was with those people in Sturgeon in spirit, if not in body.
Great joy. I have a joy as well, with a little bit of concern too, a couple things. As I mentioned a couple of weeks ago, last weekend, I went out to Las Vegas to help celebrate one of my older sister's 80th birthday. Unfortunately, she was in the hospital, and initially she was in there for cancer treatment, and then developed some infections, so she was taken off her treatment, and they've been dealing with that, and she was very, very weak and depleted. But after our visit, she was doing well during our visit, and 20 of us gathered to have a little mini family reunion, and some of the people I hadn't seen for many, many years. And I think it boosted her spirits as well. And she made some progress this week, getting stronger, and so they are moving her to a rehab facility to help build her up so that she can resume her treatments. So that was a great joy to hear that news. Other news that is a bit concerning is I now have another cousin who has gone into, or I have a cousin who has gone into hospice as of today, actually. And so thoughts and prayers for that family member would be greatly appreciated. Thank you. We will now collect the offering. If you prefer, you can make your donation online from our website, uufdc.org. You'll find the donate button on the far right of the home page. It's easy, safe, and a secure way to make your donation. Please give generously to support the work of this fellowship. It is with great pleasure that we welcome back Tracy Robertson, who has been with us many times before. And today, she shares a deeply personal message and portions of her long-awaited book, second book, Growing Up Stained. She will explore the power of self-reflection and the courage it takes to heal the child within. As a reminder to those who heard Tracy on May 25th, and for those who weren't so fortunate, Tracy shared that she grew up in and continues to be involved in Black church culture, where feedback to the speaker, vocally and via body language, is enthusiastically encouraged. So feel free to nod or shake your head or respond with a yes or amen, okay? Or hallelujah, whatever moves you. So now, though, please join in a moment of quiet to reflect on what Tracy will be sharing with us.
Good morning, you. Donna, I love that reminder. Thank you so much. Yeah, awesome. So I was supposed to originally come and talk with you guys in March about the book, and we had an ice storm. I didn't get a chance to do that. Safety first, right? But I wanted to just start out by wishing a happy Father's Day to all the fathers here, and I hope that this message will translate in providing you with some tools and tips you need to keep your littles safe. All right? So thanks for having me again. I love being here. I feel like I'm an extended part of your family. I want to take each of you on a journey today, a trip back in time. Are you willing to take a trip with me? Yeah? Awesome. Everyone in the room and everyone online, close your eyes for just a moment. Now, with your eyes closed, I want you to travel back 5 decades to the year 1975. While you're in transit, here are some things I'd like for you to think about. How old were you in 1975? I'll give you a minute to do that math. Where were you? Were you here in the county or someplace else? What activities were you participating in? What music were you listening to? Are you there? Can you picture 1975? Awesome. Okay, great. Everyone can open their eyes. What came up for you? What do people remember from 1975? You were 40? Oh, that's fantastic. What else? College? Learning to ride a bike. I love that. I love that. 2 kids, a husband, and starting grad school. Wow. Excellent. So for historical context, and for anyone who may not even been born in 1975, here's some facts. The Vietnam War officially ended on April 30th of that year. Arthur Ashe became the first Black man to win at Wimbledon. Jaws, directed by the incomparable Steven Spielberg, became the summer blockbuster, the first summer blockbuster. Does anybody remember those events? Yeah. In 1975, we didn't have any tablets. There was no internet. It might be news to some folks watching for sure that we actually played outside freely. Yeah. We played outside all day long. We did things like jump rope and play with jacks and the Rubik's Cubes and play catch. All of us Black children knew that no matter what time you went outside, you had to be home by the time the street lights were on. Is that true in other communities too? Everywhere. Okay, good. Awesome. 1975 will be forever etched in my mind for darker reasons. I was 6 years old in 1975. Can you picture a 6-year-old Tracy? I thought some of you might have some difficulty imagining my 56-year-old self as a 35-pound, 44-inch tall 6-year-old. So I came dressed for the occasion. Because in order for you to understand the impact of the trauma that I'm here to share today, I need for you not to see me as the thriver that many of you have come to know me personally as, or from whom you've read a great bio. I read really well on paper, right? But as the innocent, fragile girl I was 50 years ago. 6-year-old Tracy wore glasses. I've been blind my whole life. 6-year-old Tracy liked her hair in high pigtails. I thought they looked like angel wings. 6-year-old Tracy loved dolls and stuffies and ankle socks and bows in my hair. 6-year-old Tracy got a Barbie dream house. The one with the elevator that you pulled, people are nodding, yeah, I was so joy-filled about that. You couldn't tell me anything. 6-year-old Tracy loved words and books. 6-year-old Tracy liked things that I imagine that most girls did back in 1975. And it was in 1975 that it was a year that I became stained and my life would be forever changed. So Growing Up Stained is my memoir. It begins in 1975, around the day I was stained. My first attempt to write this book was close to 20 years ago. But at that time, it was impossible to write the book. Heck, I couldn't even talk about what had happened to me in 1975 until the summer I turned 40 and was meeting with a therapist for the first time in my life. A couple years ago, after many years of self-work, meditation, prayer, therapy, I was able to release some of the guilt and shame that I've carried my entire life. Recently, I was able to complete Growing Up Stained, and today I'm here to share part of the story and read an excerpt. Would that be okay? Okay. I want to start with a trigger warning. My story includes details of childhood sexual abuse, emotional abuse, domestic violence. And if you're in the room or watching online and believe that you might be re-traumatized, please prioritize your mental health and know that it's okay to leave the space or log off. We'll allow space for that for sure. While you're figuring out if that makes sense for you, I want to read an excerpt from my book called Jello. It's actually the first chapter of the book. And here we go. It's been more than 50 years since I've eaten green Jello. I was 6 years old the last time I tasted it. Dinner had not gone well this evening. I was in the proverbial doghouse with Mama because that afternoon I had managed to lose my school pictures on the short walk home from elementary school I attended. The school was directly across the street from our apartment. The building was so close to our apartment that I would often count my tiny footsteps along the way. 1, 2, 3, 15. 15 steps was all it took to make it from the school lot to the front stoop of our apartment. That evening, Mama kept scowling at me and asking rhetorical questions like, "How could you have been so stupid? Don't you have a brain in that big head of yours?" As usual, she was unrelenting and appeared to take pleasure in the tongue lashing. "You know, ain't nobody got money to be throwing away on you, dummy," she had said also. To make matters worse, that night I had refused to eat the meal that my always volatile Mama had prepared for dinner. Mama had yelled at me about that too. Yelling was her default setting. And I had been mandated to sit at the table until I'd eaten every bite. Even as a kindergartner, I was stubborn. I was not going to allow Mama to make me do anything, even if it meant that I would have to endure one of her many legendary whoopings. I had my feet planted, determined not to comply. I have no idea how long I sat there with my arms crossed and my lips pouted. Our small kitchen table had no clock on its bare walls. But when my dinner plate was plopped in front of me with a loud bang, the sun had just begun to set. It was fully dark outside when I finally picked up my fork and began to push the food around on my plate. My older sister, Ro, had long before retreated to the bedroom we shared in our tastefully decorated 3-bedroom apartment on Chicago's South Side. Mama was in her room. I could not see her, but I could hear low voices coming from her television. Despite our distance, I could smell the smoke from her constant companion, her Tareyton cigarette. Later, Mama finally returned to find my meal only partially consumed. Hey, even feisty kids have their limit. She angrily plopped a bowl of green Jello in front of me. The bowl landed with a thud so hard that the spoon inside threatened to skip out of it. She barked a threat, "You better finish this Jello too," and stormed back into her bedroom. I'd been studying the bowl of green slop for what seemed like a long time when I lifted my head only slightly as he entered the kitchen. I remember chuckling a bit when I noticed that he was wearing hardly anything. The involuntary chuckle escaped my lips to hide my discomfort. The kitchen table where I was seated faced the wall. Nervously, I started to trace the word help over and over again with my fingers on the table's dark wood finish. The words were hardly visible on the pledge-stained surface, but they were there and begging to be read. For a long time, he stood behind me at the sink. I think he was washing dishes, but I can never remember for sure. I didn't dare turn around to look. I still remember that there was water running. I recall the sudden urgency I felt to finish my dessert and to get out of there. I didn't know what he was up to behind my back, but I knew instinctively that it was not safe. I had witnessed him beat Mama bloody more than once, and I knew how violent he could be. I was scared and began stuffing my mouth with big heaps of the wiggly substance. My small jaws extended until I was balloon-faced. I could not have anticipated what would happen next. I imagine no child that young could, but right there in our tiny kitchen, my mama's living boyfriend did the unthinkable for the first time, stained. This chapter of Growing Up Stained has been edited for this audience. The book is far more explicit and contains specific details of exactly how I was violated. This April was Sexual Assault Awareness Month and Prevention Month. Unfortunately, childhood sexual assault is not uncommon, and it's a critical issue both here in Wisconsin, because we never think it's us, right? And across the United States. I guarantee that every single person within the sound of my voice knows someone who has been stained. Here's just some data that I was able to find. This data is from 2023. There were 3,608 unique child victims of maltreatment in Wisconsin. Females were more likely to be victims than males due to higher rates of sexual abuse, according to the Wisconsin Department of Children and Family Service. A UNICEF report indicates that 370 million, with an M, girls and women worldwide, or 1 in 8, were raped or sexually assaulted before turning 18, and boys are not exempt. So what can we do? How can we protect children from the people who would stain them? So I've got some ideas. My first is to vote, obviously because of, I don't know, the things that are happening in the world, but also because the rape kit backlog is one of the biggest barriers to justice for survivors of sexual violence. Research the candidates that on the ballot and vote for those who will take action to eliminate that backlog in Chicago. It's incredibly important. 2, educate yourselves and others. Understanding the signs and facts about child sexual abuse is crucial. Education can lead to prevention and to early intervention. 3, communicate openly. Encourage open discussions about boundaries and consent with children and teenagers to help them understand their rights and recognize inappropriate behavior. 4, recognize the warning signs. Be vigilant for signs of distress in children, such as changes in their behavior, their eating patterns, their sleeping patterns, which can sometimes indicate abuse. And 5, and I think which is critically important, is to believe survivors. If someone confides in you about an assault, listen without judgment, express care and concern, encourage them to report to the authorities and seek professional help, and accompany them. Utilize resources. Locally, you can contact the Sexual Assault Center here, the National Sexual Assault Hotline. Both agencies offer confidential 24/7 support. Another tip that might not be so obvious is to pay attention to groomers. So recently, I ended an association with a person I know who did not recognize the signs of potential grooming. The associate sent me a YouTube video, and it was accompanied by this text. this woman is so rude. And that obviously got my attention. So in the video, there's a very young girl. She might be 6 or 7 years old, and she's entering an apartment building, and she has some things in her hands. I can't recall what she had in her hands, but her hands were full. And a man who I believe lives in the building opens the door for her. The little girl walks through the door and says nothing. The man became irate and started yelling at the girl, telling her that she was rude and had no manners. Meanwhile, the girl's mother was right on her heels and came through the door also, and she said to the man, "Thank you so much for holding the door, but I've advised my daughter never to speak to strangers, and that's why she didn't thank you." So my former associate was appalled and went on this whole thing about, how people in the country have no manners, and that's what's wrong with our country. And I thought to myself, if you think that's what's wrong with our country, like, clearly you're not very aware, right? But I explained to him that I agreed with the mother. First of all, why would a grown man become that upset with a child that he didn't even know because she didn't thank him, right? I explained that this behavior, in my opinion, was very groomer-like behavior. What healthy adult needs a child's validation? None, right? His need for this child's appreciation was creepy to me. Parents, there is absolutely no reason for adults to correct or attempt to take power over your children. If any adult has an issue with something your kid did or did not do, they should be talking to you, right? Parents, this is a subtle thing that I see all the time. Please stop encouraging your kids to kiss, hug, and sit on the laps of adults. If your child chooses to hug an adult, they'll do it on their own. They don't need you prompting them to do it. But I encourage you not to be the one saying, "Go give Uncle so-and-so a hug. Go give Uncle so-and-so a kiss. Go sit on Aunt so-and-so's lap." Children will do that if they feel comfortable. And if they don't, we shouldn't be the ones encouraging them that. And finally, I encourage you to watch for grooming behavior like, "You're going to be so pretty and so handsome when you grow up." Those kinds of compliments could be the beginning of a pattern of grooming. And grooming doesn't always happen overnight. Sometimes grooming happens over the course of years, over the course of decades. There's a chapter in my book where there's a chapter called Hero, where I talk about someone who groomed me for many, many decades. And this was someone that I really trusted and admired. Addressing and preventing childhood sexual assault requires collective awareness, education, and action. By staying informed and supporting survivors, we can work towards a safer environment for all children. I bare my soul in Growing Up Staying, not for myself, but for other thrivers who also are on their healing journeys, because I consider myself still very much on my journey. I wrote Growing Up Staying for children who are still wallowing in the stain, to show them that if I can make it, they can too. I wrote Growing Up Staying to heal the 6-year-old child within. I wrote Growing Up Staying because by the grace of God, I'm still here, imperfect, wounded, but I'm still here. I wrote Growing Up Staying reluctantly. I didn't want to share my story. It was hard to chronicle all of my traumas and all of my mistakes for everyone to hear. I wrote Growing Up Staying because the truth, my truth, sets me free. And it's my hope that by sharing my story, others will be able to live freely as well. Some people have said that I'm brave for writing Growing Up Stained. I don't know if that's true. I wrote Growing Up Stained because I'm afraid. I'm afraid that other children might experience the horror of childhood sexual abuse. And to my fellow thrivers, I want you to know that we survived. We are not what happened to us. We are not blameless. We are blameless and we are shameless. Over the course of the last several years, I quit writing this book so many times. I'm so grateful to close friends who understood the weight of this project and refused to let me quit, even on the days when I felt vulnerable. Shout out to my friend Clara Fleming. I could never have completed this project without her encouragement. In closing, I want to share something with every thriver within the sound of my voice. These words were spoken by a thriver named Emily Doe during her victim impact statement in the sentencing of her perpetrator. Emily says, and finally, to girls everywhere, I am with you. On nights when you feel alone, I am with you. When people doubt you or dismiss you, I am with you. I fought every day for you, so never stop fighting. I believe you. Lighthouses don't go running all over the island looking for boats to save. They just stand there shining. Although I can't save every boat, I hope that by speaking today, you absorbed a small amount of light, a small knowing that you can't be silenced, a small satisfaction that justice will be served, a small assurance that we are getting somewhere, and a big, big knowing that you are important unquestionably, and you are untouchable. You are beautiful. You are to be valued, respected undeniably every day. You are powerful, and nobody can take that away from you. To girls everywhere, I am with you. Amen. Emily's full statement was so impactful that it was entered into the Library of Congress. And like Emily, I'm here with you too. So if anyone would like to talk to me, reach out to me, I have some contact information in the lobby. Yeah. So in closing, I'm thinking about kind of, people keep asking me, where's the book? Because it's late. It's still late. I don't have a nude release date, but there is a document on the table that will allow you to sign up so that you can get information about the actual release date. Fingers crossed. I've also created a soundtrack for the book, and I'm going to send that link to Sarah. So if anyone wants to follow this book through a journey in music, you can do that. There's all kinds of music, from gospel, which I'm a big fan of, to a little bit of hip hop, to Shaka Khan and Whitney Houston, some voices you would know, and it crosses every genre and every sector. So it's been really empowering to me, and we've been having some conversations about the listen. We've been having some listening parties where people have listened to the soundtrack, and then we've been talking about kind of what songs were new for you and what songs are you carrying with you. So we'll be having some more of those discussions if anybody's curious about that. So that's everything I wanted to share today. I appreciate this opportunity to talk more about growing up stained and the journey that I continue to be on. Thank you, Marika, for being here, and for all the people who came out because they know me and have watched me walk this difficult path. Thank you to the UU. This always feels like home, and I'm excited to be here and share.
Wow. Thank you so much for your courage in sharing that. Whew. We are now going to sing hymn number 1017, Building a New Way. So please stand in body or spirit. And Beth is going to play it through once, and Carol and I are going to sing the first verse, and then we will go back, and you will join us in the first verse and subsequent verses.
We are building
You all sounded great. I hope you will join us in the gathering across the lobby for coffee, tea, and fellowship following the service. And after about approximately 15 minutes, so about 11:15 roughly, a chime will sound signaling for the start of the talkback with Tracy. Our closing words are from the poem by Tupac Shakur, "The Rose That Grew from Concrete." Did you hear about the rose that grew from a crack in the concrete, proving nature's law is wrong? It learned to walk without having feet. Funny it seems, but by keeping its dreams, it learned to breathe fresh air. Long live the rose that grew from concrete when no one else ever cared. And Al is extinguishing the chalice for us, and we'll end with these words from Maddie Cephantis. We extinguish this flame, but we keep its light in our hearts. With its message of love and justice, taking it outside these walls to the world we live in until we are together again. May it be so.